The vast emptiness of space stretched before Jae-hyun Park's ship, a sleek silver vessel named Starlight Horizon that hummed with quiet technological precision. At 35, he was no ordinary space rescue pilot. He was a specialist trained to handle the most complex and unusual missions across unexplored galaxy sectors. His fingers danced across holographic control panels, tracking an unusual signal that had appeared moments earlier. Most pilots would have ignored the weak transmission, but something about its irregular pattern caught his attention. The signal was fragmented, desperate, and unlike anything he had encountered in his 12-year career, the ship's advanced quantum sensors began analyzing the transmission. Strange mathematical sequences and broken audio snippets suggested multiple species were involved. Jae-hyun adjusted his navigation systems, plotting a course through a treacherous asteroid field that would make lesser pilots turn back. His compact living quarters reflected his minimalist lifestyle: a single bed, advanced communication systems, and walls lined with survival gear. Photographs of his family back on Earth were digitally projected, showing a modest apartment in Seoul and his retired marine biologist parents. The ship's artificial intelligence, a sophisticated system he nicknamed Guardian, began providing real-time analysis. Probability of rescue mission success, 62.4%, the calm digital voice announced. Jae-hyun smiled. Those were better odds than most would expect. As he maneuvered through the asteroid field, each movement was calculated and precise. Years of training had taught him that space rescue was more about patience and strategy than pure courage. The asteroids seemed to dance around his ship, massive rocky structures that could crush his vessel in milliseconds. Suddenly, a massive energy signature erupted on his screens. Something was dying out there, a research vessel, critically damaged and losing power rapidly. Multiple life signs flickered, weak but present. This was no ordinary distress call. Jae-hyun's heart raced. He had been trained for multi-species rescue operations, but this scenario felt different. The vessel's design was unfamiliar, its technological signatures suggesting a research mission far more complex than standard exploration. Guardian provided additional context. Vessel appears to be a multi-species research platform. Preliminary. Scans indicate 4 distinct life forms with drastically different biological compositions. This was going to be complicated. His hands moved swiftly, adjusting shield frequencies and preparing specialized rescue protocols. Each movement was smooth, almost dance-like, reflecting years of practiced skill. The rescue module beneath his main vessel began powering up, a specialized compartment designed to adapt to various environmental conditions. Outside, the asteroid field grew more dense. Navigating required absolute concentration. One miscalculation meant certain death. Jae-hyun's breathing remained steady, his mind clear and focused. This was why he had chosen this profession. Moments where skill and courage intersected, the damaged research vessel came into view. It was massive, easily 5 times the size of his own ship, with strange architectural designs that suggested multiple evolutionary origins. Massive tear-like ruptures indicated serious structural damage from what seemed like a violent encounter. Emergency protocols activated automatically, rescue lasers extended, scanning for stable entry points. Guardian continued providing real-time data. Structural integrity at 28%. Life support systems failing. Estimated survival window, 47 minutes. Jae-hyun knew those 47 minutes would define everything. A rescue this complex required perfect execution. His training at the International Space Rescue Academy had prepared him for scenarios most would consider impossible. As he prepared to dock, something unprecedented happened. A brief communication burst emerged from the damaged vessel, not a standard distress signal, but a complex mathematical sequence that seemed to pulse with intelligence. Whatever was happening here was far more than a simple rescue mission. The universe, Jae-hyun realized, was about to get interesting. His hand hovered above the final docking sequence, heart racing with anticipation of what alien mysteries awaited him beyond those damaged hull walls. One decision, multiple potential outcomes, and the fate of 4 unknown life forms hanging in delicate balance. Would you like me to continue with the next part of the story? The airlock hissed open with a soft, pneumatic sound, revealing a world of chaos inside the damaged research vessel. Jae-hyun's specialized rescue suit automatically adjusted to the unstable atmospheric conditions, its smart fabric shifting colors and density to protect against potential environmental threats. Emergency lighting flickered, casting strange shadows across twisted metal corridors. Broken scientific equipment lay scattered everywhere, telling a story of a sudden and violent incident. The air felt thick with tension and an underlying sense of alien complexity. A faint movement caught his eye. Near a damaged control panel, 4 distinctly different life forms were trapped. Each looked completely unlike anything he had ever encountered in his rescue training. The first was Ari, a crystalline being that seemed to pulse with internal light. Her body appeared like a living prism, shifting colors with each subtle movement. Fractured yet somehow elegant, she was carefully positioned near a damaged communication array. Next to her, Kai existed as pure energy, a swirling mass of blue and green currents that barely maintained a humanoid shape. Traditional rescue techniques would be useless here. This being seemed to breathe electricity, its form constantly shifting and reforming. Day, the silicon-based engineer, looked like a metallic statue frozen mid-motion. Sharp, angular edges suggested an intelligent design with complex circuit-like patterns running across his body. He was trapped beneath a fallen research module, immobilized but still showing signs of consciousness. The final being, Yuna, was perhaps the most bizarre. A liquid consciousness contained within a transparent membrane, she moved like water, but maintained a definite shape. Small electrical impulses danced within her liquid form, suggesting an advanced neural network. Jae-hyun's rescue suit began analyzing their biological signatures. Guardian provided rapid translations. Warning: conventional rescue protocols ineffective. Adaptive strategies required. He moved carefully, understanding that one wrong step could mean disaster. Each of these beings represented an entire civilization, a complex world of knowledge and experience. Their survival was more than just a mission. It was a potential bridge between unknown civilizations. Ari was the first to communicate, not through sound, but through a series of light pulses that his suit's advanced translator slowly decoded. Mathematical sequences mixed with emotional wavelengths. She was explaining something about a sudden attack that had disabled their research. Vessel Kai's energy form began to stabilize, creating a temporary communication interface. Electrical patterns suggested a scientific expedition gone wrong, something about studying quantum interactions in unstable asteroid regions. The being seemed both curious and cautious about Jae-hyun's presence. Day's silicon-based consciousness started sending technical diagnostics directly into Jae-hyun's suit systems. Massive amounts of data flooded his interface: ship specifications, research notes, and critical system failures. The engineer was literally sharing everything he knew to help with the rescue. Yuna's liquid form began to move, creating complex patterns that suggested emotional states of fear, hope, and curiosity. Her communication was more intuitive, based on emotional wavelengths, rather than direct information transfer. Jae-hyun realized this was far more than a standard rescue. These beings were trying to communicate, to share their story, to understand him as much as he was trying to understand them. His rescue suit's emergency extraction protocols began preparing specialized containment fields. Each life form would require a unique approach, a custom rescue strategy that respected their individual biological compositions. As he started the extraction process, something unexpected happened. The 4 beings began to synchronize their energy patterns, creating a complex communication network that seemed to pulse with collective intelligence. They were working together, adapting to their rescue, showing a level of cooperative intelligence that was breathtaking. Jae-hyun felt a strange sensation. These weren't just alien life forms. They were intelligent beings with complex emotions, scientific curiosity, and a profound desire to survive and understand. The rescue had only just begun, and already everything was more complicated than he could have ever imagined. Would you like me to continue with the next part of the story? The emergency extraction sequence began with unexpected complexity. Jae-hyun's rescue suit adapted in real time, creating specialized containment fields for each unique alien being. Ari's crystalline structure required a quantum stabilization matrix, while Kai's energy form needed electromagnetic containment that mimicked natural energy patterns. Day, the silicon-based engineer, presented the most technical challenge. His mechanical body required precise temperature and pressure controls. One wrong move could shatter his intricate internal systems. Yuna's liquid consciousness demanded a molecular-level protective barrier that could maintain her complex neural networks. Guardian, Jae-hyun's AI system worked overtime. Computational algorithms calculated rescue probabilities faster than any human brain could process. Rescue success rate, 73.6% and rising, the AI announced with clinical precision as Jae-hyun moved each being. Something extraordinary began to happen. They weren't just passive rescue subjects, they were actively participating in their own rescue. Ari's light patterns began to synchronize with the ship's emergency systems, helping to stabilize critical circuits. Kai's energy form started reconnecting. Broken power lines, using its own electrical composition as a living conductor. Day's silicon brain began interfacing directly with Jae-hyun's rescue suit, providing real-time technical solutions to structural challenges. Complex engineering calculations appeared as holographic projections, revealing damage points and potential repair strategies. Yuna's liquid form began sealing micro-fractures in the ship's hull, her molecular structure acting like a living sealant. Communication evolved beyond traditional language. Each being started to understand Jae-hyun not through words but through actions. His careful movements, precise technical skills, and calm approach spoke volumes about human capability and compassion. The research vessel told a story of its own. Scientific equipment suggested a mission far beyond standard exploration. Complex quantum research modules, advanced particle interaction chambers, and strange dimensional mapping technologies hinted at groundbreaking scientific endeavors. Jae-hyun noticed something peculiar. Each alien being was watching him with an intensity that went beyond survival instinct. They were studying him, analyzing his problem-solving approach, his emotional responses, his technical skills. A particularly challenging section of the ship's hull required complex repair. Without hesitation, Jae-hyun used an experimental nano-repair technique he had developed during previous missions. Tiny robotic particles began reconstructing damaged metal, healing the ship's wounds like living medicine. Ari's crystalline body pulsed with what could only be described as admiration. Her light patterns changed, creating complex mathematical sequences that suggested deep respect. Kai's energy form wrapped around Jae-hyun's work area, providing additional stabilization and heat management. Day began sharing technical knowledge directly through quantum data transfers. Massive amounts of scientific information flooded Jae-hyun's suit systems. Research about interdimensional travel, quantum entanglement, and complex universal communication protocols. Yuna's emotional wavelengths became more pronounced. She seemed to be experiencing a range of feelings: gratitude, curiosity, and something that felt remarkably like professional admiration. Her liquid form began creating intricate emotional patterns that suggested a deep understanding of Jae-hyun's rescue efforts. The rescue became a dance of cooperation. Humans had always been described as adaptable, but this was something more. Jae-hyun wasn't just saving these beings, they were saving themselves, working together in a complex symphony of survival and mutual understanding. Hours passed. The damaged research vessel slowly transformed from a dying machine to a functional research platform. Emergency systems came back online, critical research data was recovered, life support systems stabilized. As the final repair sequence completed, something unexpected happened. The 4 alien beings moved closer to Jae-hyun, not as rescued subjects but as colleagues. Their individual energy patterns began to create a complex communication network that suggested something beyond simple gratitude. Jae-hyun realized this was more than a rescue mission. This was first contact. This was the beginning of something extraordinary. The universe, it seemed, had just become a lot more interesting. Would you like me to continue with the next part of the story? The conference room aboard the Starlight Horizon felt charged with unexpected tension. Jae-hyun sat at the center, surrounded by 4 alien beings who were no longer just rescued passengers, but potential diplomatic representatives of their civilizations. Ari's crystalline form shifted colors, creating complex light patterns that served as her communication method. Kai's energy currents danced around the room, forming intricate holographic representations. Dae's silicon body remained perfectly still, processing information at quantum speeds. Yuna's liquid consciousness flowed between containment fields, her emotional wavelengths pulsing with anticipation. Each being had proposed a form of relational commitment that went far beyond traditional diplomatic exchanges. Ari's proposal involved a telepathic bonding ritual that would connect their consciousness for eternity. Kai wanted a technological merging that would integrate their core beings. Dae suggested a scientific partnership that bordered on a marriage of intellectual capabilities. Yuna's proposal was an emotional synchronization that transcended physical boundaries. Jae-hyun understood the delicate nature of the situation. One wrong move could destroy potential interspecies relationships. Humans had always dreamed of first contact, but nobody had prepared him for multiple marriage-like proposals from different alien civilizations. Guardian, his AI assistant, provided real-time cultural analysis. Recommendation: diplomatic solution. Requires careful navigation of complex cultural misunderstandings. The human pilot took a deep breath. His response needed to be diplomatic, respectful, and clear. He began by acknowledging each proposal's significance, understanding that rejection could mean catastrophic diplomatic consequences. To Ari, he explained the human concept of personal boundaries and individual consciousness. Her light patterns dimmed, then brightened, a sign of understanding. The crystalline being seemed to appreciate his honest communication. Kai's energy form wrapped around the room, creating complex mathematical representations of their proposed technological merger. Jae-hyun carefully explained that while he was honored, complete technological integration wasn't part of human cultural practices. Dae's silicon brain processed his response with clinical precision. The scientific partnership proposal was the most nuanced, suggesting ongoing research collaboration rather than a personal commitment. Here, Jae-hyun found common ground, proposing a formal scientific exchange program between their civilizations. Yuna's liquid consciousness was the most emotionally complex. Her proposal represented a deep, empathetic connection that went beyond physical or technological boundaries. Jae-hyun recognized the profound emotional intelligence behind her approach. Diplomatic. Resolution required more than just words. It needed understanding, respect, and a genuine appreciation for each civilization's unique perspective. "We can be partners in exploration," Jae-hyun finally said, his words carefully translated through multiple communication protocols. "Not as romantic partners, but as representatives of our respective civilizations." The room fell silent, each alien being processed his words through their unique communication systems. Slowly, their energy patterns began to synchronize, a sign of mutual understanding. Guardian provided additional context. Diplomatic resolution probability, 89.4% successful. What happened next surprised everyone. Instead of disappointment, the 4 beings began sharing their research, their knowledge, their understanding of the universe. They saw Jae-hyun not as a potential mate, but as a bridge between civilizations. A holographic representation of their research emerged, complex scientific discoveries that could revolutionize human understanding of the universe. Quantum interactions, dimensional research, advanced communication technologies, all shared freely. Jae-hyun realized he had done more than rescue a research team. He had opened a door to galactic understanding. Each being represented not just a civilization, but a completely different way of experiencing existence. As the meeting concluded, the 4 aliens created a unique diplomatic token, a complex, quantum-entangled communication device that would allow continuous interspecies communication. It was their way of saying thank you, of maintaining connection. The universe suddenly felt smaller yet infinitely more complex. Jae-hyun Park, space rescue pilot, had become something more. He was now an unexpected ambassador of human potential, a bridge between worlds. Would you like me to elaborate on any part of this diplomatic resolution?